We got a lot of talent here, and there is Coach Jackson in his third year as the head coach. And when he took this job, he said, quote, "It's a large boulder to carry, the burden and the privilege of being the head coach at Valdosta State."
Acres Homes down in Houston, Texas. We had a chance to talk about that a little bit. I know that area well, being from Houston, and he is happy to come here in Valdosta. He says it reminds him a lot of Southeast Texas.
Meanwhile, Todd Hoffner, in his 14th year, he played at an NAIA school in North Dakota called Valley City State University, and he's brought a winning tradition to the Mavericks. 10 times they've been to the NCAA tournament, but they have yet to get over the hump. Twice they have made it to the championship game, trying to get there with a win today for a third time. And we are underway. Valdosta State with the football first, and a big play that still is going out across the 40-yard line. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, Rodney Buller, their big play wide receiver, has the Blazers off and flying.
I got explosive plays on my board because of this young man, a former walk-on that came in and fooled the coaches into thinking he was on the walk-on squad. Can show you speed, Doug, is fast all over the field.
Grad student out of Albany, Georgia, no college offers, and he is now their featured back, first team All-Gulf South Conference. And so the offense led by Sammy Edwards, a fourth-year Blazer, second-year starter, on the field for the first time. Fake the handoff to Alfonso Franklin. The quick pass broken up, trying to get the football into the hands of Buller.
Yeah, good job by the defense on a quick slant. They knew the blitz was coming off the edge, and they tried to go right in that area. But this defense does a really nice job. That was Jamal Spivey, who came up hard and knocked that ball away.
So it'll bring up second down and 10 on a gorgeous day for football here in South Georgia. By the way, up in Mankato, Minnesota right now, 27 degrees, feels like 18. Glad to be here with you. First completion of the day. And it's to the West Virginia grad transfer, Grayson Malasevich. That is his 41st catch of the year, second team all-conference, and it moves the chains.
Malasevich, if you want a first down and you want a possession receiver, he can make things happen. It's getting them closer to third and short, but a good opportunity here for this offense that wants to be in this kind of situation.
He was the Gatorade High School Player of the Year in 2018 in the state of West Virginia. Played for the Mountaineers as a walk-on for 5 years. Now Franklin gets his first touch, picks his way for a couple of yards into Mavericks territory.
Yeah, that was good. I thought the defense held, which I think they did. Are they saying first down?
Well, certainly the far sideline is saying first down. The official says as well.
Well, this side was saying no, so I wanted to make sure. We have the sun right in our face, but not a problem. We're walking on sunshine today in the semifinals.
You got that right, Buck. Majan Wright, the receiver to the bottom of your screen. Number 81 in the slot, Malasevich. In motion, Noah Gillen, the tight end H-back. Edwards throws it near side to the tight end. It's caught at the 45-yard line. Tripped up by Micah Brown. Good pickup there for the Blazers.
Sammy Edwards, what you watch when you watch him on tape, is he goes through his progression. When he has to get rid of the football, he's able to do it quickly and can make things happen in this offense.
Well, his head coach Tremaine Jackson said that Sammy Edwards knows what's on the line today. He's playing for legacy. There are only 3 uniform numbers retired in the history of Blazers football. If he winds up winning another game or two, he might join that list. Swing pass, a little bit out in front and too low for Franklin, who can't make the catch.
Well, what you see from Minnesota State, they're going to bring pressure, and they do it from different ways. They come from the outside. That time it comes from the linebacking crew, so they'll bring it in different ways.
Third down and 4. The line to gain is the 38-yard line.
But they have to keep coverage over the top. Wherever number 1 is, Rodney Buller, on the far side of the field, they have to make sure they cover him.
They're going to run for it. Franklin makes a man miss. Still on his feet. Makes another man miss. And gets to the 32-yard line before he's wrapped up.
Great story about Franklin also playing at Delta State. Got hurt in that game, but coach said before he got hurt, he was working us. And this is what he was able to do. Get out of harm's way. Make people miss. Broke his collarbone and then said when he went in the transfer portal, We had to take him, and he had to come.
Well, each of the last 2 years he played for Delta State against Valdosta State, and Delta State beat him up pretty good, and Franklin was in the midst of it all before that broken collarbone. If you can't beat him, sign him up. Here he comes again. Woo! Big hit, and he's bounced back, but still going. How about that for Antonio Alzheimer, the linebacker, coming up to pop the ball carrier?
He was trying to give him a little Alzheimer's, and he made him. I mean, it was crazy how hard he flies in there, Doug, and just smashes, but he doesn't wrap up.
Man.
And the thing is, Alfonso Franklin, and there's a two-headed combination. Blake Hester is going to be in the game now, but these two guys played very well. And that linebacking crew, I told you, watch them. They all come up and smash.
Yeah, Franklin has rushed for 14 touchdowns this year. Hester, who's now in the game, has rushed for 13 touchdowns. He's first team all-conference, coming off the bench. Fake the handoff to Hester. Now Edwards going to run inside the 30, stepped out of bounds, chased there by Carson Dunn.
That's the element that he brings to the table, too. When you think you have him, those defensive linemen are getting close to him, but then all of a sudden, boom, he just takes off. That's where you have to stay in your rush lane. Watch. He's going to have someone in his face or coming close to him, but then he decides to take off. He understands where everything is. If they have a four-man front, he knows where the openings and gaps are so he can take off, but he really wants to throw the football.
One of 8 finalists again this year for the Harlan Hill Trophy, D2's version of the Heisman. Takes the snap on third down, hands it off. Hester, the former Akron Zip, tackled at the 24-yard line.
Good defense there by Minnesota State.
Looked like Caleb Paulus, a junior defensive end from West Des Moines, Iowa, on the stop. And so a big opportunity for Coach Hoffner's Mavericks here. On 4th down and 2, can they get off the field?
Valdosta State is 71% on 4th down conversions, 12 of 17 this year.
Valdosta State is averaging, beating its opponents by 32 points per game this year. Just an incredible year. And it looks like they got to about the 22-yard line.
Mavericks, man, I thought for a while they were holding, but this offensive line did a nice job of that push up front. Rotate a lot of guys up front, and they give both Franklin and Hester a chance to really run the ball effectively. Hester was nicked up last week, but had a big gain on a fake punt to really change the momentum of last week's game.
And the big boys up front, they got a couple of really good tackles. Fred Norman at the right tackle spot. Jeremiah Mawali, first team all-conference at the left tackle inside. Like you said, they rotate. The starting center, Will Flowers, his snap a good one. Edwards rolling right. We've got a flag down in the backfield as Edwards trots out of bounds at the 18. Another flag comes after the play.
Yeah,
as one of the Mavericks is slow to get up.
Yeah, the first play, the first hold is on James Robinson. And then there was a hit blindside block. But you're going to see 58 in the middle, the left guard just kind of rope ties. I think that's Cody Brown or Caleb Paulus. And then on the outside, that hit there by the receiver, number 7. Excuse me, the tight end, Harrison Hamsley. Now, when I played, this was a legal block, but you cannot come back and peel on someone when they can't see you. We call it a ear hold, but you can't do that anymore.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by Valdosta State. Holding offense number 53. That's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. After the play, personal foul, blindside block, number 7, also Valdosta State. That's 15 yards. Replay first down.
So you're going to see it, number 7 coming back, peeling back. Caden Lovett is a defensive tackle chasing the play. A lot of times you'll see this on special teams plays because you're running down the field, but that's one where you're just trying to hustle to the ball, and you're going to have a guy that just comes and takes a shot at you.
So you're saying back at UCLA in the 80s and 90s, that was okay?
I had a few.
Okay.
Yeah,
no flags were flying.
No flags were flying. I've had it happen to me, and I've had it I've done it to other people. So I'm glad to see Caden Lovett walking off the field.
Yeah, we have already seen the two primary tight ends for the Blazers, Noah Gillen with a pass reception, and then Harrison Hamsley, the junior from right here in Valdosta, Georgia,
but I
Bellwood
love,
School.
Caden is like, come on, guys. I'm going to take this play off, and I'm going to come back and join you, and I'm going to find you, number 7.
So that pushes them with the 2 penalties all the way back to the 47-yard line. First down, 35 yards to go. Sammy Edwards, the senior quarterback from St. Augustine, Florida. Rolling right, fires, caught, 35-yard line. Able to get maybe 3 or 4 yards after the catch, but that'll be a good start at first down and 35 to get it back.
They're just so explosive. You know, when you watch this Valdosta State team, you got to find ways to disrupt their momentum, because once they get going, Doug, it's hard to stop them. And you can see that chunk that they picked up, and there's still a lot of yards left, but it's 2nd and 20, and they just seem to chew that yardage up.
After the 15-yard pass play, trips to the top of your screen. Edwards comes near side, has a man caught. It's his hands possession receiver, Malasevich, with his 2nd catch of the afternoon.
I'm blown away every time I think Malasevich did not get a scholarship opportunity at West Virginia, and that's why he's here, with a great chance of making plays as a former walk-on, but always knows where to be. Just one of those guys like Hunter Renfro and those guys that play on the inside and just know how to slot you up and get open.
And it wasn't like he didn't play in Morgantown. He got into 42 games as a Mountaineer, primarily on special teams, wanted a bigger opportunity to the offense, so came here to Valdosta State. Edwards all day directing traffic. Now he's going to have to run, and he's tracked down from behind inside the 20-yard line. Good pursuit by a couple of defensive linemen. Maven Kretsch, we'll be calling his name a lot, and the tackle was made by Abe Hestalin.
Really nice job also by the coverage of the Minnesota State team. They did a nice job in that secondary, just blanketing everybody. You can see Edwards trying to tell him where to go, but he had nowhere to throw the football.
4th down and 6. The offense stays on the field. They bring the starting tight end Gillen back in.
Minnesota State has been really solid against 4th down. 53%, as I said before. 71% coming into today's game, Valdosta State.
Edwards fires, little high. Receiver goes up and gets it. And that is a first down to about the 10-yard line. Nice job to go through his progressions and find the open man, Armani Hayes.
He had to let Hayes come open on the pivot route and clear everything out. And then Sammy Edwards is going to wait for him to break outside. The defensive back has to respect that. That's Kai West, one of the better defensive backs. A lot of attention to him. He can play the game and can really run.
Yeah, West is a first-team all-conference defensive back for the Mavericks. So it's 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Straight up the gut, Blake Hester, the grad transfer out of Ashland, Kentucky, who was head coach Tremaine Jackson, said he's the latest good Kentucky player here at Valdosta. I got to go find myself another one.
Well, I talked to him a little bit about that before the game. He said all of them were 2. I said, is it Tim Cox related? Because they're from Kentucky. I said, maybe. But Hal Mummy is a guy that was here that is a Kentucky guy. So there's an air raid principle that this offense has, and you can see some of it, but you got to have a good running game, and that starts with Hester or Franklin.
Yeah, the program launched in 1982. Hal Mummy, Chris Hatcher, David Dean, Kerwin Bell, among the very successful head coaches who have been here at Valdosta State. Now Coach Jackson trying to get his team on the board first, give it to Hester, and he's chopped down inside the 5-yard line. Coming up to make the tackle, once again, Micah Brown, the junior from Depew, New York, St. Joseph Collegiate Institute in Buffalo.
A lot of time off the clock, but also this is a defense for Minnesota State that's bend but don't break. Now they have to play well because there's a lot of time that's been used in this first quarter on this drive alone.
Third down, out of the backfield, Franklin has the catch, lowers his shoulder, and he's in for a touchdown.
Nice job by this offense of working to the left and then just letting them sneak out to the right. Easy throw and catch. Sammy Edwards makes it very friendly for Franklin to walk on in for 6.
So a 10-minute drive that covered 58 yards, chewing up that kind of time. I don't know if that plays into the favor of Minnesota State or not, but they are trailing 6-0 at the moment.
They're accustomed to being behind, but as we said, Doug, let's see their offense and see what they can do in this first drive. They haven't had the ball.
Austin McKay kicks the PAT and gives the Blazers a 7-0 lead in this national semifinal game. Got to give a big shout out to Tremaine Jackson's mom, Regina Miller. She's watching back home in Houston. They talk all the time. She always sends her son motivational pregame text messages. Early returns here. Son's team off to a good start.
Sounds like my mom, Jeannie Miles. She's watching. I know she probably is. Always good. He sounds like a mama's boy. Ain't nothing wrong.
No doubt. Co-coach of the year this year in the Gulf South Conference. His team with the sustained 10-plus minute drive. And now we'll have the Mavericks get the football for the first time. The kick is short, and it's booted. Who's got the football? Let's go home. It was so good to see Rico Watkins get up off the turf and walk back to the sideline for the Blazers after that big collision on special teams. The ruling on the field was also that the Mavericks recovered the football, and so the Minnesota State offense, led by quarterback Hayden Eckern, is on the field for the first time this afternoon, trailing 7-0 in this Division II national semifinal. And on first down, good yardage out to the 29-yard line. The Mavericks have a really good 1-2 punch at running back. Sam Backers, number 24, Christian Vassar, number 23, and Eckert is the guy who makes it all go.
He really does. He is the guy that really gets them in position. Been playing since his freshman year, transferred from South Dakota, and has just really done a nice job for this offense.
He has thrown for 2,995 yards and 23 touchdowns this year, but don't sleep on him running the football. Nearly 500 yards on the ground and 14 rushing touchdowns. Good push by the big boys up front to get out across the 30-yard line. Momentum takes them all the way out to the 33-yard line.
Yeah, they want to mash. They've gotten behind the last few weeks, but they've also been fortunate to get Gabe Hagan, who is playing the tight end position, back this week. He may be on a pitch count. Hadn't played a lot. He's got a lot of receptions for him and a good blocker. 6'4", 255 tight end out of Blooming Prairie High School in Minnesota.
And you saw big number 79, the left tackle, 6'7", 305 NFL prospect, first team all-conference. 6th-year Maverick. They will run behind him an awful lot this afternoon. When they run left, they're running behind the big boy. Now throwing the football, coming near side. Flag comes in tight coverage.
Monte Boyd covering Trayshawn Watson. Watson is the guy they want to get the ball to. Playmaker for him. So actually, Sean Coleman was in coverage. Excuse me, I thought it was 27.
Offense, defense, number 37. 10 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
You see a lot of safeties that they play, but they also have the ability to go outside, and that's a matchup that Minnesota State wants to exploit. Whenever you have a safety-type player, even though he can play cornerback, you want to put Trayshawn Watson in that position to make a play at 6'4", 200.
Yeah, they're safeties. They're starting safeties. Larry Elder, Jordan Billups make an awful lot of plays. Keep your eye on Elder, number 9 in black. In motion goes Jeremiah Howard. Run the football with Christian Vassar. Stopped at the 44-yard line.
And what you'll see is a 3-high safety, Doug, and then one of them will come down, and it's usually Larry Elder. We call him an alley guy because you don't want to meet him in an alley, in a dark alley at night. See, number 9 coming down. He just misses where to go, but he's able to turn things back in. He's like a heat-seeking missile to try to find that running back, and really good player. Come from a rough upbringing, but his grandmother did a nice job with him, and he's playing well for this ball club.
Yeah, former Shark. He played 4 years at Long Island University, LIU, got his undergraduate degree. Tight end takes a big hit. After the reception. Grant Guyette holds on to the football, but a big pop for the Blazers.
Guyette is one of those guys that's a tough guy. He's not going to let that ball go, but you got to get it to him quicker, and he can turn up the field. You always look at the area of targeting. Really nice tackle, but in today's game, that's the first thing you think about when you see a hit like that.
Well, Grant Guyette's parents are sitting down right in front of us, Barney and Sonia. Barney was saying, throw him out, throw him out. They and many others have made the trip from Minnesota for this football game. On the rollout, back to the tight end, back to the son Guyette. Big pickup inside the 35-yard line for the junior from Omaha, Nebraska.
Call him a possession receiver, but I've seen some explosive in it, and that one was a nice play by Guyette. Getting to the ball, flooding that zone, and then taking off. He does a really nice job yards after catch, generally 84, to make plays.
And with that pass completion, Eckern has gone over the 3,000-yard passing milestone for the season. Yeah, they said of Guyette, possession receiver, but he can stretch the field as well. Straight up the middle for Christian Vassar, the senior from Minneapolis.
Before today's game, 40 catches, 574 yards, already with 2 catches today. And they are challenging this Valdosta State defense, who up front has a lot of girth and size. But what they started off is running the football, and now Eckern is doing a job of getting to the outside and getting away from the rushers.
We've yet to call the name of number 6, Trayshawn Watson, the big play wide receiver at the top of your screen. In motion is Emmanuel. Guyette, the receiver at the bottom. Gonna run it with Vassar. Tackled at the 29-yard line.
The Minnesota State team has to be happy. They've been practicing probably in some cold weather. Now they get a chance to come down to really a nice day of football.
Perfect.
Man.
Perfect. Minnesota State survived Bemidji State in the quarterfinals last week to improve to 11-3 on the year. This is a team that has been one of the big boys in the NSIC. Every time they play a game in conference, it's the opponent's Super Bowl. They lost 3 times this year, all in conference. And they have done a nice job of staying in this football game, driving the football on what was a very fast-moving first quarter of football. The folks from Minnesota rooting for their Mavericks, down 7 as we head to the second quarter. The quarterback, Hayden Eckern, a senior out of St. Rita High School in Chicago, fires a bullet to the right side, and it's caught by Jeremiah Howard, the former Northern Illinois football player. Spent a couple of years in DeKalb playing for Thomas Hammond.
Really nice job of securing the catch, Jeremiah Howard, and making sure that he had it. Trying to keep this drive moving.
Well, it's not often you have a college football game where you only have one and part of another possession in the entire first quarter. A 10-plus minute scoring drive to begin the game for Valdosta State. Mavericks trying to answer. Able to get to the 22-yard line before being driven back is Christian Vassar.
Vassar had one guy pulling him from behind, and then 3 other ones just come and met him. He's a real good player, though, elusive and can make you miss. But that time, there was too many guys to make miss.
Well, he's been around so long that when he was coming out of high school in Minnesota, one of the guys on the roster who was recruiting him, the quarterback at the time, is now the offensive coordinator for the Mavericks. Ryan Schlichte in his first season as OC back at his alma mater. Let's see what they dial up. Design run for Eckern, and again, he has nearly 500 yards rushing on the season. Able to get to the 20-yard line.
They're healthy also on the offensive line, which is good. We're talking about this Blazers defense, which some of the things that they've been able to do over the course of the year. They don't allow points. They're really good against the pass, and they protect the ball, but they take the ball away from other teams. Valdosta State.
On third down, the open receiver is Guyette. changes direction, gets inside the 5. It's going to be first down and goal.
I think that would make Adam Thielen happy.
You got that right.
He's a grad of this program and great player at the next level. But Guyette, look at this. He does this all the time. Boom. I'm going to stop. I'm going to make you see what you don't see, and then I'm going by you. And Eckern gets him the ball in position. This is a friendly catch. Look, turn and run up the field, making guys that are fast neutralized by the ability to cut back.
Yeah, you mentioned Adam Thielen, the two-time Pro Bowl receiver for the Panthers, one of 10 Mavericks to make it all the way to the NFL. On first and goal, Eckern pulls. Able to make the first man miss, but finally tackled at the 3-yard line.
I'll say this, Doug. I got the chance to call a semi last year and the final. These teams hit each other. Harding ended up winning last year. Colorado School of Mine. I see the same kind of intensity between these two ball clubs. They don't want to go home. And they've got some players that can make plays. And this is a defense that's prideful. Look how big they are inside. But Todd Hoffman said, look, we have to find ways to have efficiency early with our offense. He talked about it all week with us.
They bring a bigger package in. Tight end Jake Cicero, 6'6", 255 pounds, number 87. And their big back, Sam Backer. He's their power back all by himself as they go under center with Eckern. Fake the handoff, Eckern. Out there all by himself trying to get the edge, but he's going to be chased out of bounds at about the 2-yard line.
And you got two Blazers that flew to try to get to Eckern and not let him get in the end zone. The hustle play, and one of them was Larry Elder, of course. But he's going to get on the outside. He breaks contain, and watch how quickly these guys get there. Now, Eckern is smart. He doesn't try to go in and take them on because it was 4-on-1. But you got to stay backside in these situations with Eckern because he can run and sneak out on the backside of it.
Third and goal from the 1. Backer finds a hole and punches it in. Minnesota State answers with a touchdown drive of its own.
I love it. Long drive on the first one. You use up all the first quarter, and what does Minnesota State come back and do? Score 6. And Sam Backer, look at this offensive surge. No black jerseys that you see, all white jerseys pushing you in the end zone into that black turf. That's why there's 6 points. Give it up to that offensive line right there.
Why not give it to the 2024 NSIC Offensive Newcomer of the Year? Closing in on 1,000 yards rushing. That's his 6th touchdown of the season. And now Matthew Jagger boots it through to tie the score at 7 apiece. Well, you said how important it was for Minnesota State not to fall behind by a big margin. They are hanging in there here in the second quarter.
Take the first punch, but then you give the punch back so you can make it a tied football game. It is awesome. You can't beat this weather today.
The kickoff by Jagger goes out of bounds. The flag will fly, and they'll bring it out to the 35-yard line.
Doug, I know you flew into Atlanta. I flew into Tallahassee, and I don't think we realized the amount of damage from the hurricane. And
my goodness.
Talking to folks here, and I live in Charlotte, so I've gotten to know a lot of the folks in Asheville, and thoughts and prayers still with those folks. But it was amazing to see all the damage and destruction in this area as well.
Wherever you are in Valdosta, you see still 2.5 months later the after effects of Hurricane Helene. Yesterday in downtown, I saw a caravan of flatbeds taking lumber out, and that continues today and will continue for the foreseeable future. So the folks here have been very resilient. The power, for the most part, is all back on. Pass deflected, dangerous spot, as Samuel Curry was unable to haul in the pass by Sammy Edwards, but it falls incomplete.
Yeah, really nice job by the defensive lineman of putting his hand up. And to that point about the damage here, Kenny Moore, who's a former resident of Valdosta, went to Valdosta State, also has done a lot for the community. So I'm going to just give him a shout out as well.
No doubt. 2nd and 10. They're going to run the football. Franklin, nowhere to go, met at the line of scrimmage. Tell you what, the Mavericks and their fans who've made the long trip came here to play football. Cody Brown, a senior from Madison, South Dakota, standing tall up front.
Yeah. This is what they've done, though. They have found a way, and I think that long drive made them go up to the sideline and figure out what was different, and then their offense scored, which gave them some encouragement as well.
and gave this defensive unit a chance to catch their breath after that long 10-plus minute drive by Valdosta State to start the game. On 3rd down and long, pass on the money. It's a first down reception out to about the 47-yard line. Move the chains for the Blazers.
Dejan Wright slipped, but at the top of the route, he was still able to get there. Sammy Edwards is throwing that ball on time and gets it into him between 2 defenders. Now, they'll start out in a too-high safety and come down with 1, or they'll keep the too-high position. So you got to be a quarterback that understands, and he has a high football IQ to know where to go with the football.
See if they're going to run behind the H-back. No, they fake the handoff to him, trying to find Malasevich, but it's incomplete.
Well, and that time they rotate into Malasevich, and the defensive back was there, so it wasn't a clean throw. It looks like it's cover 2, where you think you can run that slant inside, but they're doing a little bit different things on the top to try to take Sammy Edwards' throws away from him. They know he's a really intelligent football player. They have to show him something and give him something else.
Running it on 2nd down, a huge hole. Out of bounds at about the 22-yard line, Alfonso Franklin.
And that time they stay with the cover 2 high shell, which has less guys in the box. And watch, it allows him to get through there and make that run and just take off. Really nice job by Franklin, who, as we said before, look, the blocking up front is good, and then he explodes through. There's 2 safeties deep, so there's no one in there in the box to stop this.
34-yard run for the first-team all-conference running back from St. Petersburg, Florida. He remains on the field alongside Sammy Edwards. Edwards gives it right back to him. Nothing inside, so he bounces it outside with his quarterback as a lead blocker, but I'll tell you what, Lorenzo Jones was having none of it. The senior defensive back from Orlando sniffed it out and brought down the football carrier.
Well, he was key in the 4th quarter last week with a long fumble recovery return. Should have scored, but he got caught by Bemidji State. But it was a huge turning point in the game. But this here is a good tackle and could be the difference between a touchdown and 3 points. Really nice job.
Well, it is a breezy afternoon here in Valdosta.
From the end of the run. Replay first down.
Doug, generally when you cut back and the running back cuts all the way back like that, that has a tendency to have the offensive line lose people, and then that's where holding takes place. But again, a solid tackle by Lorenzo Jones for Minnesota State.
And penalty on Armani Hayes pushes the Blazers back to about the 30-yard line. Edwards gets away from one, gets away from another. Got to protect the football as he slides at about the 20-yard line is where they're going to mark it. He's hard to bring down, hard to locate.
He's slippery, and he's bigger than he looks. They haven't listed as 6'2", 188. I don't think that. I think he's bigger, but he can stop on the dime, and then he can turn, and then he's athletic enough to get through there. And he knows from his read of where you're going to be how to run through you as well as throw to you.
1st and 18. Hester tries to pick his way through the line. Not a lot of room to run. He's tackled at the 18-yard line.
Yeah, they talked a lot about this defense being a bend but don't break kind of unit. Possessions are going to be a premium here, so they've got to find a way. Even to come away with just a field goal would be a huge win for this Minnesota State defense.
And again, it's a breezy afternoon, which may come into play at this point. The wind is at the back of the Blazers for this drive. 3rd down and 6. Edwards lofts it up toward the end zone, has a man, and it's caught. Beautiful touch on that pass over the top. And out of the end zone, Valdosta State retakes the lead.
It was a nice job of just letting the running back who's matched up. Alfonso Franklin matched up against a linebacker. That's a win for him. When you play man coverage or you have linebacker who is in a position, Cade Stengel, that's not a place he wants to be. And Alfonso Franklin with a nice job. But Sammy Edwards puts the ball only where his guy can get it, and that's 6 points.
Now the point after attempt out of the hold of Pate Hogan. Austin McKay kicks it up and good. 2 possessions, 2 scoring drives for Valdosta State.
Well, when you have a guy that can make plays for you like Sammy Edwards, look at him. He has him in position. He knows, I'm going to give you the ball. Franklin, you do what you do best and score.
Meanwhile, Valdosta State here in Titletown, USA, as it's known. They've won it all 4 times and are the favorite right now, back in front 14-7. The 2 return men don't communicate. Fortunate to keep possession of the football.
That's the second time that's happened. The first time it hit off of Antonio Alzheimer. This time, 2 guys converging. That's really, like you said, lack of communication. Got to be on the same page. You cannot give away a free turnover. These are costly, and you lose yards as well. Sam Backer was there.
Trayshawn Watson.
Watson as well.
So they perhaps lose a little bit of yardage. They'll start the drive at the 22-yard line.
What you don't want to do on special teams is not give yourself a chance to make plays. Now you have such a longer drive to take.
Vassar at running back takes the handoff, and he's wrapped up at about the 20-yard line.
Vassar and Backer. Backer, the freshman, redshirt freshman out of Chatfield, Minnesota, and Vassar out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Now those are the 2 feature backs. Backer, the offensive newcomer of the year in the conference. Vassar, the veteran, been around 5 years, had a career high last year against Sioux Falls of 144 yards. Vassar goes out into the flat. The throw goes over the middle. Nice job to adjust to the football and make the catch by Grant Guyette.
Great job by Guyette, but also the quarterback put it on the shoulder away from the defensive back. And Guyette, knowing Guyette's body control and his ability to turn, really nice job. Both of these quarterbacks give you friendly balls, meaning you just can catch it and run with it, or they put it in a position where you just see it, the receiver getting yards after catch or out of harm's way.
1st and 10. On the ground, Minnesota State. Stopped at the 30-yard line. Coming up to make the play and make sure there's very little gain. Maybe a pickup of 1.
It was a good defensive play on a counter where they were all waiting for it.
Kyle Thomas among those stepping up defensively.
I like the methodical nature of Minnesota State also. Now they have to make sure they sustain drives so they can score against this Valdosta State team.
On 2nd and 9, quick pass. Caught, but for very little gain. After Isaiah Emanuel made the play, he was taken down almost immediately.
Yeah, that was a really nice play by Monte Boyd. Taking on the receiver that's blocking him and then just fighting through it to make the tackle. Great job by Monte Boyd, 27.
Coming up from his boundary corner position, a sophomore from Snellville, Georgia. And that'll bring up 3rd down. They've got to get out to the 39-yard line.
Those transfers from Presbyterian.
Lots of former Division I players who have transferred down to these D2 programs here in the national semifinal. The pass is caught to the 48-yard line. Trayshawn Watson from Hayden Eckern.
Yeah, well, we've talked about waiting to see Watson, and that was a really nice job of letting that play develop. He knows it's going to happen, and as soon as he sees him break, he's able to throw that ball out there on that sail route. Trayshawn Watson is a guy that they want to take away, but he is so effective.
He's another one of the former D1 guys from FCS Illinois State. First team all-conference here this year, both as a return man and as a receiver. Off-play action, Eckern going deep. Incomplete into triple coverage. Watson had no chance to get to that football.
I said they're paying attention to him 3 times. I mean, they knew they were trying to set something up. This is where your shot plays take place, usually 45 to 45. And sure enough, the defensive coach, Brandon Anderson, knew the same thing. They had 3 guys back there on it. They already run a 3-high safety, and then they had the corner, Monte Boyd, running with. I mean, they had everybody running with them.
And so that'll bring up 2nd down and 10, but good to take a shot there. After the low snap, nice job by Eckern to hand the ball off. Up to midfield on another sustained drive. We are late in the first half. Valdosta State has had the football twice and scored. Minnesota State has had it once, now a second time trying to score.
Yeah, one thing you want to do for Minnesota State is your 3rd down conversions. You have to have those today, but you also have to protect the football. This is a team that's plus 17 in turnover margin. You got to protect the football, and they've done a nice job of that so far today.
Got to get to the 42-yard line on 3rd down. The receiver is there, and then some. Inside the 35-yard line, Trayshawn Watson with another big catch.
And Eckern was going to get hit. He stayed back there in the pocket and fires into this deep dig route. Trayshawn Watson starting to get his sea legs now, starting to make some plays for this offense.
Now, the head coach, Todd Hoffner, and the offensive coordinator, Ron Schlichty, some of the words they used to describe Eckern this week. A go-getter. He's cordial, genuine, reserved, but, and the but means when it's time to play, he's not so cordial necessarily. Handed off to Vassar. Waiting for his blockers, and he's able to get inside the 30-yard line.
Well, Doug, it sounds like, I was an altar boy growing up. But when I had to play, I became a little bit different.
You just don't hear coaches talk about players as cordial very often.
Yeah. I think his ability to bring guys together also, too, was really one of those things that you could hear in that conversation.
He also said, a warrior, dynamic, reserved leader. He wants to go into coaching when his playing days are done. 3rd-year starter for Minnesota State. Vassar picks his way to about the 27-yard line, and that takes us to the 2-minute timeout. Well, halftime's just around the corner. Time for some grits. Let's eat some good food here in South Georgia.
Oh, my goodness. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Got a VSU up at the top, and I think they light up the V special. V for victory around here.
Minnesota State's trying not to let that happen.
Well, Buck, we talked off the top about how Mavericks head coach Todd Hoffner said we cannot settle for field goals. We got to punch it in here and keep up with this high-scoring Valdosta State offense.
I like what they've done on this drive, though. They've been methodical. They've huddled. They haven't had tempo. They're just taking their time because they're really wanting to shrink the clock for the rest of this half, score the touchdown, and make it a tie ball game going into the half.
Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts, and like you say, huddling up. The Mavericks taking time, play clock down to 22. Hayden Eckern fumbled it, picked it up, and just goes down. Looked like he had a chance to pick it back up and try to make a play, but at last thought, he said, you know what, I'm going to just protect the football.
Yeah, the ball came out. I don't know if it was hit by when he was faking it. And now a timeout by Valdosta State.
Yeah, it looked like, to me, he just lost it.
Yeah.
So we'll take a break with him. The #1 ranked team in the country holding on to a touchdown lead here in Valdosta. Their defense trying to hold Minnesota State on 2nd down and 15. Eckern stays on his feet only for a moment. Going to lose yardage back to the 30. Big play for this defense. The tackle made by Alan Baugh.
Nice job by Alan Baugh of keeping Eckern in position. Now, you think about it. They lost yardage on that fumble that he had to just recover. And now this play there, no one open on the back end. 3rd and long. So a tough situation for this Minnesota State offense. Let's see if they can capitalize.
And Minnesota State head coach Todd Hoffner, while he has, quote, called his place kicker Matthew Jagger a hero lately, had a couple of walk-off field goals in rounds 1 and 2 of the playoffs, now 5 for 5 in the fourth quarter this year. They'd rather not go to their field goal unit. Instead, they'd love this to be a first down, and it would have been if Isaiah Emanuel could have held on to the football.
Yeah, Isaiah Emanuel with the opportunity just couldn't capitalize there. Now they have to kick this field goal to get some points.
And again, it is a breezy afternoon. Looks like it'll be into the wind for Matthew Jagger, a junior from Plymouth, Minnesota, a Missouri transfer, now third-year Maverick, who again has been tremendous late in ball games. This is a 47-yard try. They say they're comfortable with him well beyond 50, but that's not into the wind. This is into the wind. He's got the leg, and it is no good.
And Doug, his long on the year is 41, and he's kicking into the wind. That wind just kind of like my golf shot sometimes. He had the distance, but it got caught up as it was rising.
And so an empty possession for the Mavericks.
Yeah, and this is where they have to be prepared, because last week Virginia Union had 2 late turnovers in the second quarter, and Rodney Bullard was one of the guys who I haven't seen in a while. I haven't been able to call his name. I don't know if he's been nicked up, but I haven't seen him in the last few drives. But he is an explosive player for this offense.
And I don't see number 1 out there. The good thing Minnesota State did, though, was to make sure they bled the clock and not allow this explosive offense to really try and tack on some more points. I got to figure if you're Minnesota State, if you'd asked them before the game, you're going to head to the locker room only down 7, they'd feel pretty good about themselves.
They would have to be, because it's an opportunity for you where you got a chance to really be in a position to come back in the second half, and you get the ball to start the second half.
One of the Blazers slow to get up, and now is finally just back onto his feet. Looks like he's going to be okay and work his way off to the sideline. Kentravius Williams. Entertaining first half of football in this D2 National semifinal. It's number 1 Valdosta State on top by 7. Our halftime report is coming up next. The undefeated number 1 ranked Blazers of Valdosta State looking to go to 13-0. They actually would be one more game farther into the year if not for Hurricane Helene. They had to cancel one of their games earlier this year. And not a course to be made up. Kicking into the wind. And that'll make its way into the end zone just barely. Trayshawn Watson called for a fair catch, and so the Mavericks will have the football to begin this third quarter.
This wind is right when the ball was kicked. Even up here, we were holding on to things, trying to make sure it doesn't go away. Trayshawn Watson called for the fair catch, but the ball doesn't quite get into the end zone until the last second.
Well, the leading rusher in the first half, Vassar, 10 carries, only 28 yards. The 1 touchdown came from Backer. The leading receiver for Minnesota State, Guyette, 4 catches for 47 yards. Trayshawn Watson, their big play receiver, held to 2 catches for 31 yards. He's number 6 in white. As Hayden Eckern takes the first down snap, rolls right. Easy pitch and catch to Tony Anger. First time we've called the name of the 5th-year Maverick, who is part running back, part fullback, part tight end, part H-back.
He's a versatile guy.
16 career touchdowns. He can do a little bit of everything.
He can do all of it, and I think that's why they like him so much. Again, Larry Elder on the tackle. That's a 6-1 on today for today's game, and we knew we would call his name a lot. He had 5 tackles last week and 2 forced fumbles.
Elder coming on the edge. They run the other way with Sam Backer, and he's got a lot of room to roam. Inside the 20, and Backer goes the distance. Touchdown, Mavericks.
Nice job by Backer. But what you have to do is make sure you secure the tackle, and if you don't, he's going to take it to the house. Capoletti right there has a chance, 31, and if he doesn't catch him, no one else will. Backer for 6.
A 69-yard touchdown run for the redshirt freshman from Chatfield, Minnesota. And a chance to tie this back up. Out of the hold of Joey Gadel. The kick is up. And good. 14 apiece.
We talked about them needing points. They didn't get that field goal, but they got a huge touchdown from Sam Backer going, coming into your living room. Don't let them take your food. Don't let them take your water, but let them score a touchdown.
You're watching the Division II National Semifinals from Valdosta, Georgia. The winner goes on to McKinney, Texas for a shot at the national championship next Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time against the winner of the second semifinal. That is scheduled for 3:30 today between Ferris State and Slippery Rock here on ESPN+. And the Blazers going to run it out from their own end zone. You don't see that as often as you used to. And terrific special teams coverage from Minnesota State.
I think Blake Hester thought that Franklin was going to stop because he looks back. He's the up guy waiting to make the decision. And when Franklin brings it out, I think he was even surprised.
And so how do the Blazers answer after the big play, long 69-yard touchdown run to tie the score? This Blazers offense that has really not been held in check pretty much at all this year. Can they put points back on the board?
They can, but I still don't see Rodney Bullard, and that's a guy that's a key component for this offense.
We haven't seen him since very early on. He returned the first kick of the game, but is yet to be involved in the passing game. Alfonso Franklin has got a couple of touchdowns on the receiving end, tries to run it, and is stopped on first down.
All of the points have been scored by the running back position. Both teams have really done a nice job from that perspective. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens here with this offense, if they can get some things going.
Malasevich in the slot to the bottom of your screen. Empty backfield for Sammy Edwards, the all-conference quarterback. Checks it down, and there is Malasevich. He is open all the time, it seems like, out across the 30-yard line for a first down.
Some guys say they're 7-11. Malasevich is 7-11. He's always open. And he just gets in the middle of the field. Edwards, again, friendly ball, puts it out in front, gives him a chance to run with it. First down, keep the drive alive.
Well, Grayson's mom is Tina. His dad is Billy, former place kicker at Marshall University. And he's best remembered for a game-winning field goal for the Thundering Herd to win the 1AA national championship back in the day. Swing it out of the backfield, and it's another big gain. And once again, it's Franklin on the receiving end. Into Mavericks territory, finally taken down at the 40-yard line.
Franklin gets all the credit, but those receivers out there blocking for him have to get some credit there. You get the ball out to him quickly, you think it's a short game. Good block there. Watch this other block coming along. Those are the things you have to have on long, explosive plays. And that was a nice job by Franklin of setting it up, but good blocking by his receivers.
They flipped the field on a 30-yard pass play. Blake Hester now the running back. Edwards gives to Hester, straight ahead. Dragged down by Gage Tennyson, a sophomore linebacker and South Dakota transfer. That'll bring up second down and 4.
I was talking to one of the coaches on the sideline for Valdosta State, and I said, if I think about it, Cam Scatterboo and Hester, very similar. Hester's a smaller version, but he runs hard like that. Not the same style. They're not exactly the same guy, but very similar in how they attack the football.
Well, Hester was a walk-on for 4 years at Akron. He was really good in the return game, but wanted to have more of an opportunity at running back. Now he's given way to Franklin, who again has been the big play receiver in this pass game. To the 20-yard line, and again the combination of Sammy Edwards to Alfonso Franklin moving the football for Valdosta State.
Again, nice blocking out in front of him to give him even a longer opportunity to run with the football. And they'll rotate that, bringing in Hester. But again, you get the ball out to him quick, a long handoff, and look at the blockers there. See, and then he's going to cut back across the field, which makes it even harder for this defense to bring him down.
That's the pattern. Franklin chunk yardage, go to the sideline for one play to catch his breath and right back in there. So Hester is out there alongside Edwards. And they hand it off to the former Akron Zip, and he's got big yardage up the middle, lowering his shoulder and delivering some of the punishment on that play.
Yeah, he is not afraid to just say, I'm going to run through you. Now, you see the rotation, almost like a hockey line shift for the defense. They've got to keep these guys fresh, but they've also got to find a way to stop Hester and Franklin.
He's been really good this year, yards after contact, first team all-conference. His career high actually was 3 years ago for Akron against Bowling Green. He went for 120 yards. Nothing doing there, dragged down by Max Lommel, the defensive tackle from Chaska, Minnesota.
Yeah, nice job by Lommel. They said Lommel, Brown, and those other guys up front had to play well against this run game.
And we've not called the name of number 90 in white yet. Maven Creechy, a senior defensive end who is an NFL prospect. He's got great size on the edge, really good footwork. And now on 3rd down and 1, let's see what they'll dial up for the Blazers offense. Franklin back on the field. And they go to him, up the middle, 1st down. Good hole opened up in the middle of that line.
So often you talk about where you win, and it's in the trenches. Both of these coaches know that. Good job by Will Flowers and Ty Brown just coming off the ball and allowing Franklin to come behind those big guys up front, push that defensive line until he can get to the 2nd and 3rd level.
So it's 1st down and goal.
The demoralizing thing for Valdosta State, they don't turn the ball over either. They protect the ball, and that's the thing for Minnesota State, trying to get one of those takeaways.
Franklin into the end zone for the 3rd time this afternoon. Valdosta State retakes the lead.
Talk about a hat trick. 2 catches, 2 touchdown catches, and 1 run. Just love the story about Franklin playing at Delta State, really beating this team up and saying, okay, if we can't beat you, come join us, big fella. Come on out here and make some plays for us. We'll block for you and get you in the end zone as many times as you want.
Well, a big part of the reason why he transferred to Valdosta State, Franklin at Delta State in northwest Mississippi was about a 13-hour drive from his home in St. Petersburg, Florida. Family never once got to see him play, but now he's only about 4.5 hours from home. And he's able to have his family come and watch him. And let's hope they're in the stands here today or watching on ESPN Plus, because Alfonso is getting it done. His 3rd touchdown, first one on the ground, gives the Blazers once again a 7-point lead. Head coach Tremaine Jackson and his top-ranked Valdosta State Blazers with a 21-14 lead in this national semifinal at the Division II level. He played some of his college football at Texas Southern after starting at Louisiana Monroe, and he says, having played at an HBCU, he was drawn to watching the 2012 Division II NCAA title game because Winston-Salem State was in it.
Yep.
And, of course, you know who was in it at that point. He'd never heard of this school, and he thought it was Valdosta State. Now, I'll tell you what, 12, 13 years later, he is the caretaker for this unbelievable program, and in walking through the football complex with him yesterday, he has taken on the history of this entire program of his own. All the former players, in his eyes, are his former players. It's really nice to see.
When you take over a program that's been successful, you want to keep it going. You want to leave it better than you started in it.
Sam Backer, another big play. The Mavericks punch right back and will start this drive in excellent position at their own 40-yard line.
I think the real key for this is Backer's going to do the work, but watch how it's set up. Look at those white jerseys, build a wall, and then allow him to get out there. And Backer's faster than I think people give him credit. When you watch him on tape, you don't realize it, but we saw on that long touchdown run, and right there, he starts from 0 to 60, and he's gone.
And Tony Anger, Trayshawn Watson, a couple of the guys who are out front blocking on that return. And so the offense for the Mavericks back onto the field under the direction of their quarterback, Hayden Eckern. Former South Dakota Coyote. Back in 2019, he redshirted at the FCS level. Able to dump it off to Becker. Lots of room to run, and that's a 1st down.
See how many yards he picked up? Even it looked like those guys are going to converge on him, but Becker is just, I love how he runs and finishes runs. Now, Eckern knows I just got to check it down. Let me get it to my guy. Look at how they're going to converge. He hesitates and then runs through him and picks up extra yards.
before Monte Boyd came up from his boundary corner position and Diego Bremer from his linebacker spot. Bremer's the nephew of former NBA guard J.R. Bremer, the former basketball standout at St. Bonaventure University. His nephew Diego, number 10 in black. Positive yardage on first down. This time it's Christian Vassar.
And Vassar is one of those guys that's elusive, but he waits patiently, and then when he hits the hole, it's kind of going to glide through it. Backer's more downhill, but watch what he's going to do. He's going to let his guys go in that counter position and then explode through the hole, make a few guys miss, and then just run through the rest of it. You have to have a certain patience when you run in the football to let your blockers set you up so then you can run and explode through the hole.
What a valuable piece for Minnesota State, playing his 45th career game. Back to him.
Good job there. You know you can cut back, but you don't rush to it. You go, stay on track, and then all of a sudden you cut back. This is a really nice job. Look at the offensive line. And then he's going to patiently go there and then come back on the backside where you have those defenders that are thinking you're going to go stay on track, and then all of a sudden you're in their kitchen and buy them. They're doing a nice job on this drive of just setting things up and making plays. I like what the offensive coordinator Slitchley is doing this drive.
Watson and Guyette, the receivers to the top. Vassar remains in the game. He's going to be a lead blocker for the quarterback on the designed run. Eckern puts his shoulder down and gets to the 28-yard line.
Yeah, this is going to be a dogfight, Doug. This Minnesota State team, they're in this game. They haven't fallen far behind like they've been in the last few weeks, and they know they have to keep up with this Valdosta State offense. Their offense is really methodically marching down the field again.
And you know what? This team from Minnesota State was ranked as high as 7th in the country mid-season. They dropped a couple of games, dropped out. They've lost 3 times this year, but don't get it twisted. It's not like they don't belong in this game.
And they know that. They know they can play with this team, and they're doing it right now.
Trying to set up the wide receiver screen. Instead, they throw toward the end zone. Incomplete. Guyette was well covered.
They want a flag on Larry Elder. Yeah, Larry Elder is going to be the guy that they're trying to pick on here a little bit. Guyette wanting to run by him. Elder comes over. Some contact. A little contact.
Play on. Elder able to make the play. You know, he was a fairly hot commodity in the transfer portal from LIU. He paid for his own way on a recruiting visit here to Valdosta State. They don't have that in the budget. If you want to come and be recruited here, you got to pay your own way. That's how much he wanted to be a part of this winning program. Eckern, incomplete. Isaiah Emanuel, the intended target.
Well, now they're in a position on 4th down. If they decide to kick the field goal, they have the win to their back, but I don't see them going with the field goal team. I see the offense staying out there.
Well, this would truly be the first offensive stop of the game either way today.
To your point, protect the football is key in a game like this, in a play at this time.
Guyette, the motion man, looking his way, going to throw for Guyette. Incomplete. Looked like the play was set up to succeed. Rance Connor, the defensive back, former Louisville Cardinal, able to throw off the timing just enough, I guess.
Well, he had to get rid of it a lot quicker because he had pressure coming after.
Less than 2 hours, Slippery Rock will take on Ferris State in the second national semifinal. And for the other spot in next Saturday's national championship game against the winner of our game between Valdosta State and Minnesota State. Don't know what they're able to do in terms of watching this game and getting ready for their game, but you know they've at least got a side eye on what's happening here at Bazemore Hyder Stadium.
They got some physicality and a team from Minnesota battling with these guys from South Georgia.
There's the bracket. And this program from Valdosta State, they call this Titletown USA around here. The Blazers have won 4 national titles in 2004, 2007, 2012, and 2018. Tremaine Jackson would love to add his name to that list of national championship coaches. Franklin cuts it back. able to get positive yardage out to the 39-yard line.
You always love a back that has great vision, but patience to get to the vision. In Titletown, USA, I love it. This Franklin, with his ability to cut back, has to be happy to have guys like him and Blake Hester and Sammy Edwards.
Edwards gives. Franklin straight up the gut. Hard running. Those legs and feet keep moving out to the 44-yard line. Well, Valdosta State University here in Valdosta, Georgia, out of the Gulf South Conference, an enrollment of over 12,000. And they didn't come up with the nickname Titletown USA by themselves. We at ESPN actually gave it to them as part of a competition back in 2008. They took everything into account. This facility is primarily actually a high school stadium. That's why the seats are black and gold for the Valdosta High School football program that, as I understand it, has won more games than any other high school football team in the country.
That's awesome. That's incredible. You know, growing up in a place like Texas where high school football is large, Florida and Georgia in particular, it's huge as well. And to have that moniker as Titletown, and they'd say they get about 15,000, 16,000 here on certain nights when they play high school football games.
Big third down here. The defense for the Mavericks being urged on by the fans right in front of us. We can feel the stand shaking from the folks from Minnesota. On the swing pass, it's caught. And that'll move the chains out of the backfield. Jaden Henry, the former Colgate Raider. First time he's touched the football today.
I can't tell you enough how good it is to watch a quarterback that knows how to throw the ball to a guy to let him run with it after the catch. Sammy Edwards does that consistently. Watch how he just puts the ball right there to him. The blockers are there, but the ball has to come in a place where you can catch it and then take off with it.
Henry stays in the game, takes his second straight pass. Out of the powerhouse program, St. Thomas Aquinas, same school that produced the Bosa brothers, Michael Irvin. Unbelievable football being played in Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, we used to hear about St. Thomas Aquinas down in Texas, how good they were in Florida, man. What a program, well, year after year.
Henry had a tremendous 3-year career at Colgate. 900 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns, second leading rusher last year at the FCS level. Now the grad transfer stays in once again alongside Sammy Edwards. First down and 10. Fake the handoff to him. Good thing that receiver is tall because Wright was able to haul in the pass at 6'2". He used every bit of his reach for it.
What did Coach say about Tremaine? What did Tremaine Jackson say? Hey, don't come back and tell me you're open. I know I'm going to get you the ball. And we're seeing it now. His rhythm is there. And that was a perfectly thrown ball to a guy that was waiting on it at 6'2", like you said, another one out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Edwards takes care of the football. He earlier this year set a program record with 195 consecutive pass attempts without an interception. Hands the football to Henry, who bounces it outside. Got a shiftiness to him. Finally driven back at the 10-yard line, but his forward progress going to leave us at 1st and goal.
And it makes it tough on your defense because you think you can be there, but then you got a guy that comes in. The next guy, we haven't seen much of Henry. He comes in and makes plays. They just find different people, whether it's Franklin, Henry, or Hester. And then Sammy Edwards is a distributor. He's not a game manager, but he is a point guard that knows how to dime when he needs to.
Job well done for Jaden Augustus Henry. He goes out, replaced by the man with 3 touchdowns already, Alfonso Franklin. Curry, the motion man. That's just window dressing because they're going to give it to number 25 in black for his 4th touchdown of the day.
Yeah. That defense was on the field way too long on that drive. Another long, sustained drive to finish with Franklin. Henry's got to say, hey, man, I did a lot of work on that, brother. You should have gave me that. Should have let me have that.
Now, this is a deep and versatile Blazers offense. We have seen multiple weapons, but the primary weapon today has been Franklin. And now a chance with only 1:21 remaining in the 3rd quarter to take a 14-point lead. The PAT by McKay is good. 28-14, Tremaine Jackson's team now in control of this football.
Yeah, they've seized it here, and they've got an opportunity. But this is a beautiful day for football, and you can't ask anything more from a guy like Alfonso Franklin. Here, one of them. You want another one? I got 4 of them if you want. So let's make it 2. Nice throw out of the backfield by Edwards. Nice catch there. And then just downhill running again with Franklin. And after Henry does a lot of work on that last drive, Franklin says, hey, I'm going to make sure the running back room is represented for number 4.
18 touchdowns on the year now. That last one capped off a 72-yard drive that took 4:45 off the clock as the Blazers are looking to go to 13-0 on the season.
Well, you can see why this team has played so effectively. You get to watch a team in a 2-week time span if you go back and watch games. But then you get to talk to their coaches on both sides, and both of these teams know what's at stake. This drive is critical for Minnesota State. But Valdosta State has put it out there, 28-14. Let's see what Minnesota State can do with it now.
And you know what, Buck? Football's not the only thing on the minds of a lot of these seniors for both sides. Over a dozen of these Blazers are going to go right from here over to West Hall and graduate later today.
It's like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Something like that. So they got to finish their business here. Meantime, for Minnesota State, they've got over a dozen guys who are missing graduation back in Mankato today.
I like what Tremaine Jackson said about that anti-Huffman, but Tremaine Jackson said, hey, I'm not going to go to graduation. I want that to be for your family. I want to get you in a position so you can graduate. I don't need to be there for the celebration because I've done it with you the whole step of the way.
Minnesota State has had a couple of really big plays today. Good coverage to keep Trayshawn Watson from breaking one there. Pushed out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
Let's see if they can get Trayshawn Watson going, because he's one of the guys that last week made some huge plays for him down the stretch. Had a big touchdown late in the game.
Well, Mavericks head coach Todd Hoffner says this has, quote, been a miracle season. And in each of their 3 playoff victories, they've been down by as many as 9 points in each of them in the fourth quarter. And they are staring at a similar type scenario with the miracles continue for the team from Mankato.
But they don't panic. And that's the one thing I do like about this team and watching them the last few weeks. They will just keep playing and work through the process.
That's the 5th fumble of the day. 5th time they've recovered it, but it's a negative play. Howard fortunate to keep possession of that ball.
Yeah, that could have been really, really ugly. Howard looked like he just never got it cleanly in the exchange.
So that's a 7-yard loss. Clock continues to run.
One of the things you want to make sure is you protect the football, and that wasn't the timing of it. He was almost too far past Eckern when he was trying to hand the ball off to him.
Big number 90, Kyle Thomas, revving up the crowd on the far stands. Backer makes a good cut out across the 40-yard line. They'll bring up 3rd down, a little more manageable.
That's a guy that just like all of a sudden you think you've got him in the backfield, and sure enough he shows up 9-10 yards later. We're heading to the fourth quarter. It's a great ball game. Physicality. Team from Minnesota, some of their fans said, hey, why didn't we bring shorts on a day like today?
Well, they had to fly from some pretty cold weather to a beautiful day here in South Georgia. The Mavericks down by 14. Can their miracle season continue in quarter number 4? The folks from Valdosta State say no. We're the ones going to McKinney, Texas for the championship game next Saturday afternoon. An undefeated Valdosta State team on top 28-14.
Larry Elder and Sam Backer met in the alley, and neither one backed down, but I'll be doggone. Woo!
The co-defensive player of the year in the GSC for this year, the 6th Blazer all-time. To get that award, Dwayne Smith, Antonio Speed, Antonio Edwards, Jesse Tuggle, and Larry Dean. Add Larry Elder to that list to bring up 4th down and 2. Minnesota State going for it. The surge forward behind the Hogs up front is successful.
Really nice job by that offensive line. When you have a two-headed combination in Vassar and Backer, you got two guys that can really make plays for you out of that running game.
Now 74 is Deontay Vini. He's the right tackle. Marshall Forner, number 79, is the left tackle. Fake the run. Eckern throws across his body to the sliding tight end, Aiden Ferguson. That's a big play for this offense for the Mavericks.
We had Gabe Hagan moving, and they like to do this. They'll throw back into the middle of the field. Gabe Hagan 8, watch him. He wants to go there, but then he sees right away. I like his eyes. He works outside and then comes right back because he knows he has that leaking tight end coming late across the middle.
Handed off with a huge hole. Christian Vassar.
"26 touchdowns in the state championship senior year, and you can see why. He will run through in high school. He was able to run effectively in high school and done it at this level as well.
He's had 11 touchdowns in his 5 years as a Maverick, including 5 this season. 6'2", 215-pound senior from Minneapolis. He's going to lead block for the quarterback. Eckern tries to deliver a blow, but he is brought down ultimately by Jordan Billups, who comes up from his strong safety spot to make the tackle.
Sam Backer with an outstanding block. That's 24 here. He's mauling the defensive back. You don't expect running backs to take on linebackers consistently like that. Joko Willis was just being driven back by Backer on that play.
Yeah, and Joko is no joke. He is an Auburn transfer, 6'3", 215 pounds, who did play for the Tigers. Pass broken up by Rance Connor, former Louisville Cardinal, who also played last year at East Carolina. Got his hand in there to knock the pass down.
Well, they had Rance on him and then Jordan Billups over the top. So Rance is playing tight on Trayshawn. I keep saying, why aren't they going to him? Well, this is why. He's on him like Velcro.
Young man out of Booker T. Washington in Miami with the play. So 2nd down and 10. If they run behind their big package, indeed they do. Well read, though, as Sam Backer had nowhere to go. They had Tony Anger back in and tried to get him out in front. It just didn't work out.
And Monte Boyd comes down, slices off the edge, and brings him down quickly to make it 3rd and about 7.
Sam Backer, by the way, came into this game needing 92 yards for 1,000 on the year. He has gone for that and more. Congratulations to Sam.
Critical drive here, and they don't want 3, they want 7.
Eckern. Chase from the pocket. Still has his eyes downfield, gets rid of the football as he steps out of bounds. It's an incomplete pass.
Eckern bought so much time, but no one could get open. And now you have a 4th down situation where it's all gas, no brakes. Todd Hoffner told us that. He said, we got to score touchdowns to stay up with this Valdosta State team.
And as much as anything, because the Minnesota State defense has not been able to get off the field. If they give the football back to Valdosta State, the way the game has gone, it's going to be a 3-score game in the blink of an eye.
Critical point in your season in the 4th quarter. 11 minutes and 3 seconds left.
Aiden Eckern takes a shot to the end zone, got a man, and it is caught. Touchdown, Isaiah Emmanuel. And the Mavericks are still in this thing.
What did I tell you? Isaiah Emmanuel, who didn't get that catch earlier in the first half, comes up with a huge touchdown on this one. And this was a nice throw by Eckert.
Sure was.
Beats him and then puts the ball up there. Both of these quarterbacks have just been diamond. I mean, they have been dropping it in the bucket where only their receivers can come up with it, and it's a huge answer to what you needed against Valdosta State.
A 25-yard strike to the junior from Montgomery, Illinois. And don't look now, but the miracle comeback Mavericks are coming back again.
Hey, these boys don't know how to quit. They come down from Minnesota and said, it's cold, it's warm down here. We're going to stay in this game as long as we can.
Matthew Jagger to kick off. Into the wind. The deep man is the dangerous Franklin, who already has 4 touchdowns. Looked like they try to keep it away from him. The up man makes the play at the 30-yard line, and that's one way to keep Franklin from going to the house.
Well, and Henry also is an explosive guy, so and they don't have Bullard. Bullard has been out of the game, questionable to return.
The NCAA FCS Championship coverage will continue on ESPN+. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. They know all about NCAA championships here at Valdosta State. Baseball, tennis, softball, and that is in the middle of West Hall, the beautiful original building here at Valdosta State, where they'll be holding their graduation in just a few hours here today, including a number of the players on the field right now who will be processing in their robes to get their diplomas. Franklin going to work. He's going to try and make every single player in white miss on that one single play. His forward progress will get him out to the 32-yard line.
Gained 20 yards, but only got one official yard. Maybe a half a yard. And he's going to make everybody on the team miss. The first 2 times it was fine, and then you're just continuing to go to the sideline. Everybody on the defense is going to eventually touch him.
The 6-foot senior from St. Petersburg out of Boca Ciega High School.
Also got him closer to his daughter. Official. The umpire is always in danger zone. He got hit on that one. Franklin was coming off hobbling a little bit. Now, the umpire always used to be a good pick guy for me. I'd use him well. But he doesn't want to get this to happen to him. You got to keep your head on the swivel.
Come on, man. You never did that intentionally, did you?
I didn't do that intentionally, but I would run by him and make the defensive guy have to use him to run around him. Hell yeah.
On 3rd down, pass incomplete, in and out of the hands of Henry, and that'll bring the punt team out for the first time for the Blazers.
Fortunately for Valdosta State, they didn't give that ball away. This is now an opportunity for Minnesota State. Alfonso Franklin banged up on the sideline. Blake Hester came into this game nicked up from last week.
The punter is Noah Botsford, a sophomore, also out of St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Fort Lauderdale. And with the wind at his back, he booms it all the way to the 5-yard line. It checks up and is going to be downed at the 4.
Oh, wow.
What a punt by Noah Botsford.
You can't ask for any better landing and sticking that. Wow.
That'll flip the field and give Minnesota State 96 yards to go for what could be the tying touchdown.
The way this offense is played, they've done a nice job. It's up to the defense for Valdosta State to hold, but I'll say this, man, these 2 quarterbacks have played well most of the game. Let's see what answer Eckern has now.
Watson and Howard are the wide receivers. The running back standing in his own end zone is Sam Backer, who's gone over the 1,000-yard rushing mark for the season on this day. They give him the football. Out to the 5-yard line, maybe a gain of 1, 2nd down and 9.
That punt, you just can't say enough about that. At that time, and the way the ball just lands and stays there.
Grant Guyette has come back into the game, the 6'1 junior receiver who's had a good game, taking the place of Jeremiah Howard. He's in the slot with Watson split out wide. 2nd down and 9. Eckert hands it off. Backer out to about the 8 or 9 yard line to bring up 3rd down.
Sterling Roberts, the first one there, and then you have Monte Boyd. After this game, both of these teams are going to dap each other up and give a lot of respect to each other, because they both have played with a certain physicality and they know what's at stake.
Good look at Joko Willis. Has a birthday coming up on Wednesday the 18th. Would love to celebrate it on his way to McKinney, Texas. Play clock down to 2 on 3rd down and 5. Eckert is not going to get there, and not even close.
Well, Jordan Billups did a nice job of telling the edge person there, they're coming this way. They made a decision and they checked it off. And watch all of those black jerseys right there. Billups is one of them that doesn't make the play, but he tells the guys up front, they're coming here. He identified it, he saw them checking off. And Joko Willis with a nice tackle.
Yeah, he's made some big plays for this team this year. A scoop and score for a touchdown against Delta State. Makes a big stop there to bring the punt team back out of the field.
People will ask, well, why don't you do something different? Well, you don't want to get caught with a team that has already turned the ball over a lot this year in harm's way.
Now the punt to Ethan Nation. And the former Nebraska Cornhusker is going to let that fall and roll dead at the 47-yard line. So Valdosta State's defense with a big stop here. Now 7:02 remaining in the 4th quarter.
You got a chance now. If you're Minnesota State, you got a whole serve. Let's see if Alfonso Franklin is coming back for this drive.
They get the football back with 7:02 remaining, up by 7. A design quarterback draw. What a stiff arm to get a couple extra yards. Carson Dunn might think twice about coming up and taking on that quarterback.
Yeah. Guys trying to get some flags now. Surprised no flags are flown. They've let this, they're trying to get these guys to break it up.
No flags at this point yet.
It's been a pretty physical game, and these officials are letting them get away with a little bit. But
yeah. Watch the stiff arm. Get off me.
That's the first one. Now the second one. And this is where he got a little upset and said, okay, I'm going to take you with me.
Yeah, Lorenzo Jones took the second stiff arm. Sammy Edwards finished 3rd in last year's Harlan Hill Trophy voting for the Division II Heisman Trophy. To the MVP at this level, he's one of the 8 finalists again this year. Valdosta State looking to work some clock, give the football to Franklin.
Yeah, Franklin back in the game. I know he was a little bit banged up, but this time of year, everybody's got injuries and nicks, and bumps and bruises.
And you know what? We may look back at this game if the Blazers are able to score here and secure it at that 62-yard punt by Noah Botsford, is long for the season, that flipped the field. It allowed for the Blazers defense to force a 3-and-out and get the football right back. Great defensive play. And a raised fist after the big tackle by Cody Brown. Second team all-conference, and that is his now 14.5 tackles for loss this year.
Play takes too long, and good job by Cody of just getting in there, making penetration, and then taking down the running back there.
That's a powerful running back that he just grabbed with his left hand and clawed down.
But to beat the block was the best thing about it for him.
So on 4th down, trying to possess the football, keep it here. Can the Blazers get to the 37-yard line? Play clock down to 5, and it looks like now they're going to call time. and perhaps bring Botsford back out on the field to try and punt and once again pin Minnesota State back deep in its own territory.
Both defenses kind of held serve at the right time, right?
Yeah, a whole different fourth quarter than what we've seen all day. Back with 5:03 remaining after this. 5:05 remaining in the fourth quarter of this national semifinal for a spot in the D2 championship. Rather than going for it on fourth down, they give the football to their punter, Noah Botsford, who again drops one at around the 5-yard line. We're looking at a MVP candidate for this game if the Blazers get the win.
Man, that's an outstanding job by Botsford. 16 inside the 20 this year. Actually 13, and now make it 15 with those two that we just saw today.
So first a 62-yard punt. His long on the season that he deadened at the 4-yard line. Then this one he drops in that gets covered at the 9-yard line. Christian Vassar, number 23, out there with Hayden Eckern. Eckern has, coming into this, 72 career touchdown passes that was tied for the program record with Ben King. He hands it off on first down. A big hole for Christian Vassar.
Really good block in there. You're going to see Tony Andrew. It's number 5. Come around and seal. Just block that out. Good tackle by Larry Elder. We just keep calling his name every single time.
And if he hadn't done that, the 11-yard gain would have been a really big gain. No panic in this Minnesota State offense.
Well, they've been here almost every week. In the last 3 weeks, they've been in position where they've had to come from behind to win ball games.
That's anger in motion. Eckern throwing deep down the middle. Guyette may have had a step on the defensive back, but unable to hook up. Going with him step for step is the boundary corner, Monte Boyd.
It just goes to show you how strong Eckern's arm is. He's throwing into the wind there. Still overthrows it.
Good looking Monte Boyd.
Critical drive for this Minnesota State offense.
Well, their season likely depends on it. They've lost 3 times this year. They've won their 3 playoff games by a total of 8 points. And all coming from behind. Very nearly intercepted, trying to find Watson, and Eckern is fortunate that that was not picked off.
Josh Brown broke on that very, very nicely. And you're right. That could have been a pick easily. They know they want to go to Trayshawn Watson. He has to get to the sticks. And Josh Brown says, okay, let me just break on this.
Well, that young man has played big games in this stadium at Lowndes High School, just 3 miles west of here, the big rival from Valdosta High School. He knows what it's like to make big plays here at Bazemore Hyder Stadium. And so that forces a punt. Connor Fournier. Low punt into the wind. Fair catch. Made it 40 at the 42-yard line. So now can the Blazers bleed the clock and get this semifinal win?
Well, Minnesota State doesn't want that to happen, but this is going to be a critical drive to Valdosta State. They've been able to run the football when they've wanted to, but stalled here most recently on these last few drives.
Yeah, seems like number 25 should factor into the play calling here.
I would say so.
96 yards on the ground, 66 through the air, 4 times to the end zone. And indeed, number 25, who we saw receiving some medical treatment earlier, back onto the field, stumbles his way to the 49-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 3.
Graham Craig is listening to you. He heard those
Give it to number
radio
25.
waves.
Come on. Everybody in red and black on the other side of the field saying the same thing.
Well, and Blake Hester, again, is not playing as much Franklin was nicked up a little earlier, but at this point in the year, you're going to play. And you're going to get it to your guys that make plays for you.
Now they go empty with Franklin in the slot to the top. Now he will come back to the backfield alongside his quarterback. Sammy Edwards indeed gives it back to number 25, and that'll move the chains and give him a fresh set of downs.
One key component, Rodney Bullard is not in the game. We haven't seen him since the first quarter. But this is a key time for Franklin. That first down was huge.
The OC, former Blazers quarterback, his offense #1 in the country in fewest turnovers with just a total of 4. And it all starts up front for Valdosta State. 60% of his offensive line, first team all-conference. Mawali, Ase, and Flowers, your center, your guard, and your tackle on the left side, all first-teamers.
Ty Brown, also a key component. Fred Norman. Ty Brown, that story about him being just a guy that, shows up on campus, and the upperclassmen now have accepted him because he was a freshman.
Yeah.
A freshman and played his butt off.
They're all the all-conference players, and we're talking about number 74 in black as well, who's going to be an all-conference player. He's a true freshman from Thomasville, Georgia, who when he got on campus and, quote, started putting his hands on people, it was undeniable. That's what Coach Jackson said about it. You just don't see true freshmen play the role that he has played on this tremendous team in the trenches.
When you see players that come in and you know they can play, that's what happens. I mean, you understand. And I love that he put his hands on people.
Yeah.
And then the upperclassmen are like, look, you can't discount this kid. He can play. Let's go. He's a part of the crew.
Well, he played tackle on the Georgia High School State title team last year at Thomas County High School. And Tremaine Jackson and his staff saw him, identified him, and said, we want him.
Yeah. You have to have a good eye for talent on any level. But at this level, you have to do that as well, because not all your guys are going to come in at the same place. So you got to get them there.
And Valdosta State has used the portal more than Minnesota State, but both formulas have been excellent. 2:41 remaining in regulation. Franklin bouncing it outside. Going to try to stay inbounds. Forced out of bounds, though, after a nice pickup. Going to bring up second down and about 4.
Really nice block on the edge as well to allow him. Armani Hayes, just walls Lorenzo Jones down, and that's why he was able to get way out of bounds. Way outside. I'm going to let this clock just run down unless Minnesota State calls a timeout.
And indeed they do. That'll leave Minnesota State with 1 timeout with 2:22 on the clock. Of course, we'll have a stoppage for the 2-minute timeout as well coming up.
You have to do everything you can not to allow them to get first downs, and particularly you cannot let them score again.
Time is of the essence. Todd Taylor, the third-year on-staff, second-year defensive coordinator. He says each game schematically is different as he adapts his defense to the particular opponent. What have you seen from his defense adapting to the Blazers' offense today?
Well, I think they slowed him down. You've got an offense that scores 42 points a game, and you have explosive playmakers. He's kept them in front and done a nice job of not letting them have those explosives, even though they had long, sustained drives. So I think the key for him is coming up with a way to get a stop or even a turnover, which is difficult against this team. They don't turn the ball over.
4 all year. Somebody's going to need to make a big play, though, here on defense for the Mavericks. Second down and 3. Edwards, Franklin keeps the play alive and then starts driving forward inside the 25-yard line. Well, first down for Valdosta State.
Sorry about that. And the reason that's happening is they're attacking the football. and they're trying to make sure they knock the ball out. And the umpire took another shot. Now, look, everybody that's coming to tackle Franklin is going for the ball. They're trying to tackle him, but look at him when he's running there, you can see them attacking the football. The umpire, you better get back, man.
Yep.
gotta be quick. Oh, man.
Yeah, clearly Joey Gadel was going for the football, not trying to bring him down, the starting safety for Minnesota State. Here's one of our other MVP candidates, the umpire, playing through all the physicality today. Back in Valdosta, Georgia, with 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter of our NCAA Division II National Semifinal. Alongside Charles Arbuckle, I'm Doug Sherman. Valdosta State trying to cling and hold on to a 7-point lead. Franklin bounces it outside, and he could get to the end zone. One man to beat. He dives for the pylon. Touchdown! His 5th of the day. Wow.
So often when you have this kind of play, you know the defense is all constricted. Look at all those guys there, almost like a soccer scrum with the little kids. And then all of a sudden, one breaks out with the ball. That's Alfonso Franklin for a touchdown.
Okay. So I like the punter, I like the umpire, but my MVP vote is going to Alfonso Franklin. How can you deny him with 5 touchdowns?
Well, he has just really played well today and had opportunities, and he's made the most of them.
155 yards rushing and a total of 5 touchdowns, 3 running and 2 receiving. And that point after might just do it.
Again, so much inside. You can see all of those guys just trying to figure out where he is. He comes out on the backside with a nice run to the pylon. Look at all of the massive bodies there, and he sees it and just cuts out. His vision is really, really good. The more I watch him, and when you watch him on film, these are the things that you see. And then his ability to get out of harm's way and just take the ball and go.
Man, he won the race to the pylon with the safety Jamal Spahee, who couldn't quite get there. Franklin now with 19 touchdowns on the year with his 5 today. Just remarkable.
It's incredible. And you had a defense that has played, you were saying, what they needed to do to stop. Well, you got to keep contained, and that was the hardest thing when you're trying to stop them from getting the first down. These guys from Minnesota State have played hard. They come into an environment that's never easy to win in, and they've given them all they could. And this game isn't over. Let's say that. I've seen these guys come back from behind. They don't quit, but they've got a long uphill battle.
That they do. Todd Hoffner said it's going to take a small miracle to beat Valdosta State. I think it's going to take more than a small miracle now. It's going to take a big miracle with 1:51 to go. Noah Botsford, the strong-legged punter, to kick off from the 35-yard line. Kicks it short. Carter Henderson tackled out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Good coverage once again on special teams by Dallas Robinson, one of the backup defensive backs.
And now Minnesota State, you got to score as quickly as you can. Onside kick would be the next thing after you score.
Start their drive on the 26-yard line.
They need 2 touchdowns to tie it and force overtime with only 1:46 to get it done. Hayden Eckern, the senior out of St. Rita in Chicago, tries to dump it off. Incomplete. Christian Vassar couldn't make the catch.
Yeah, that pass was difficult for Vassar. It was coming so fast in such a short area. Fortunately for them, it wasn't intercepted.
So Vassar comes out. Backer returns. Sam Backer, the offensive newcomer of the year in the NSIC. The 3rd Maverick so honored. He also made first team all-conference. Guyette motions to the bottom. Eckern looking that way. Finds number 8, the tight end Gabe Hagan. The The senior from Blooming Prairie, Minnesota, gets out of bounds.
Yeah, that's been nicked up. Finally coming back, and they've been wanting him. He hadn't practiced and been able to play for 2 weeks. Key component for him. 43 catches, 533 yards, 6 touchdowns on the year.
He was having a big game against CSU Pueblo when he got injured. Wasn't medically cleared until late this week. Eckern caught down at about the 34, maybe the 35-yard line. Clock continues to run. Once again, it's Hagan on the receiving end. Going to run the football. Minnesota State has 1 timeout remaining. They're going to keep it in their hip pocket for now and try to keep going as quickly as possible. 1:07 on the clock and running. Eckern couldn't find anybody open, and he's going to go down.
Yeah, now they're going to use that last time out.
Greg Hudgens III, the former Purdue Boilermaker, with the tackle.
Yeah, the pressure was getting to him, and he had to just go down. Huggins, again, one of the many transfers.
Please put 56 seconds on the game clock.
Good player on this
56 seconds.
Valdosta State team.
Yeah, he was originally a 3-star recruit coming out of St. John College High School in Washington, D.C., offered by Tennessee, LSU, Michigan. Wound up going to Purdue, spent 3 years in West Lafayette. Now he's a big playmaker at Valdosta State on that defensive line. So now 2nd down and 9. Again, the odds are stacked against Minnesota State. Coming up at 3:30 here on ESPN, plus the other Division II national semifinal. Ferris State, the heavy favorite over Slippery Rock. But as we've seen here today with a heavy favorite, Valdosta State, doesn't mean you're not going to have a good ball game.
That's exactly right. I think the key here, too, for Minnesota State is trying to figure out a way to score quickly. They've used some time, and Valdosta State knows that. They're trying to keep everything in front of them now.
Second down and 9. Eckern. Dangerous pass, and it's picked off along the sideline. This is going to go inside the 5-yard line. Nearly a pick six by Rance Connor, but that will do it, as Valdosta State is 44 seconds away from going back to the national championship game.
Yeah, you knew you were going to go to that well too many times. They protected the ball. They fumbled it in certain situations, but recovered it. That time, Rance Connor was Johnny on the spot. Watch him break on this ball. He reads the quarterback well and just is able to take that back. Looking for Isaiah Emanuel. That was an easy catch. Good hustle play to stop him from getting in the end zone. Now they're at the 1-yard line.
Connor is a second-team all-conference player with the clinching pick. He also a high-level recruit out of Booker T. Washington High School in Miami, offered by Alabama, LSU, South Carolina. Just part of the talent on defense for Valdosta State.
Yeah, that's the one area they talked about that's been upgraded on this team, their defense. They could always score, but now they can score and they play really good defense as well. Jermaine Jackson is going to build this clock, and two head coaches that have a lot of respect for each other.
Classy move by Todd Hoffner to run all the way across the field to congratulate Jermaine Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, when you know you played a team that beat you and you've given your all, it's only class that those two guys. I told you, these teams are going to have a lot of respect for each other because they were battling each other. They knew, and you can just tell the respect that both of these programs have for each other.
Tremaine Jackson said of the privilege and burden of being the head coach at Valdosta State, it's a large boulder to carry. Well, he is carrying that boulder back to McKinney, Texas next Saturday for a shot at another national championship.